excision of melanoma in situ, left dorsal forearm, and the excision of layered closure with right lower leg. However, that's why you can't always go based upon your procedures performed. And the provider a lot of times put colonoscopy, and if you read down in there, they do biopsies, which gives you totally different. So that's why we have to read on. When I'm going through here, I'm underlining all this stuff. What I underlined, right lower leg was 0.9 centimeters, 0.5 centimeters outside the margin. But then remember it says the excision, excise, diameter, including margins measured 1.9. So I said, okay, forget that 0.5 centimeters, because right there, that's our key measurement. We know that we've got an excision of a malignant lesion because the postoperative.
Sorry,
we
guys.
know that we're coding an excision of a malignant lesion based upon our diagnosis. And right now, remember when we were going over our excision codes, I said the format for those codes are the same: anatomical location and then diameter, including margins, so the 1.9, and then to the leg, excision of a malignant lesion is going to give you code 11602 for the excision. Now, if you're going from the very beginning of the book, you could go to excision in your index. Let's see here. This is where it can get confusing when you're dealing with your skin. Go to your skin. Go to skin under excision, and then they've got lesion, benign or malignant. Okay. So then we'll get to 116. I mean, at 11600. You'll see we're under the skin lesion removal malignant. And remember the format is the anatomical site and then diameter. So our anatomical site was the right lower leg, which leaves us still at 11600, but the measurement, including margins of that lesion, was 1.9.
Yes.
So we get the 11602. Now, if you look under the code descriptor for the removal of malignant lesions, it tells you there that it includes simple non-layered closure. The 11602 does. But when we go back to our operative report, it tells you an intermediate layered closure was performed, measuring 2.5 centimeters. So that's why, if you go back to your index, if you don't know, if you get lost after we get through going so much and don't know, it goes just a few pages over. If you go back to your index, go to repair. And this skin. You see under wound, it's got complex, intermediate, or simple. And it takes you to that generalized area, so go to 12041.
Oh, thank you.
If y'all are cold, I can turn that down. Just let me know. So again, our repair codes are by complexity, then anatomical location. So 12031, and we're still at the lower leg. And then our overall length, the final length of the surgical repair, 2.5 centimeters. It leaves us at 12031. You got a 51 modifier on 12031 because it's a multiple procedure. It's one procedure, in essence. but 2 procedures was performed to maintain the 1 intent. You know what I'm saying? That's why you got 51 on there. Now, that second one, when I was reading it to you guys and I told you to underline, it said electrodesiccated and curetted times 3. And then I told you to underline final defect 0.9 centimeters in size. And I said that times 3 is going to throw you for a loop. Times 3, when they're doing curette, whether in some basic songs say curettage or something, maybe I'm pronounced it like that. But I always say curette. They can sit there and burn it and dig it out, burn it, dig it out, burn it out, dig it out like 10 times. That's what they're doing when they say times 3. It doesn't mean 3 lesions. It means that's how the process goes. They burn, dig. When they figure out that they've gone deep enough or they don't think there's any more lesion, they'll burn it. And when they're burning it, they're closing it. You see these people with black scabs and they've been to the dermatologist, bless their heart. Because he's burning it and then he's closing it when he burns it. So anywho, don't let that times 3 throw you, because that's what that means. It's still 1 lesion, and then the final defect is 0.9 centimeters. So again, remember, just like our excision, our destruction codes are based upon the pathology of the lesion, whether it's benign, pre-malignant, or malignant. So we have to go back up here to try to find out what it was. And melanoma and tissue melanoma is always more than that. That's one reason you gotta know that med terminology. Melanoma, that's like killer skin cancer.
Okay, I think I'm good.
So then if you go to destruction and then skin and then malignant, the same way, it'll lead you to that in about 0.9 centimeters. Let's see here. All right, let's look at number 6 on page 97. An 11-year-old female presents to the doctor's office with 2 dark lesions, and I'm going to underline that, and a skin tag on her back. I'm going to underline skin tag, back. The 2 lesions on her right upper back are punch biopsy. So I'm going to underline 2 lesions, right upper back, punch biopsy. The skin tag on her back removed by electrocauterization. Skin tag, back, electrocauterization. Oh, and they have put a 59 modifier on that third CPT code that we did a while ago for that destruction to indicate that it was a separate lesion. You have to think about it from a payer standpoint. When they got all 3 of those codes, they're like, well, wait a minute, did you do all that in one slide? And that 59 is saying, no, this was a separate and identifiable procedure performed. The reason why they put the 59 on that third one is because the RVU is lower for the destruction rather than the excision. That's why we coded it out in that manner instead of coding the destruction first. And you know, last class I was telling y'all or showing y'all how to do a process of elimination, and you can basically do it with this one. said you could kind of do a process of eliminate what you can. If you would have known exactly where to go for the first code, you can look at this multiple choice scenario and not even look in the book. Well, after you get a little familiar with codes, you would have had to look up one code and you would have known.
Which one would you have looked
Biopsy, skin biopsy. Keywords, true dark lesion, skin tag on the back. So remember we got skin tag codes? So those are totally different. True lesions on the back, punch biopsy. We went over it last time. You got several different